It's 4:07 a.m. The corridor is silent except for the low hum of machines behind closed doors. You are standing at a workstation you don't control, scrolling through patient charts you didn't create, preparing to present information that will be corrected in real time. This is your first rank, medical student. You don't make decisions. You observe them. You follow closely, speak when asked, and adjust when corrected. Every movement is monitored indirectly. Attendings watch through residents. Residents watch through expectation. You are visible, but without weight. The environment reflects your position. Shared spaces, crowded desks, fluorescent lighting that never changes. You move between rooms carrying notes that will be rewritten. You repeat information that is already known. At this level, you still believe in separation. There is you, and there is the system. You assume one does not define the other. You tell yourself this is temporary, but you begin to adjust in small ways. You filter your questions. You prioritize appearing composed over being correct. You measure progress by how little friction you create. The system does not instruct you to do this. It rewards you when you do. You advance. You are now an intern. Your access expands. You are no longer observing decisions. You are executing them. Orders carry your name, even when they originate elsewhere. You are responsible for completion, not authorship. Your workload increases immediately. Admissions, discharges, documentation, coordination. You move continuously, but not freely. Every action is tied to expectation. Every delay is visible. The environment narrows. You are assigned to a service. The same hallways repeat. The same rooms. The same monitors. The same patterns of interruption. Time loses structure. Day and night become interchangeable. You begin to understand the system's logic. Efficiency overrides preference. Speed overrides reflection. The correct answer delivered late becomes less valuable than an acceptable answer delivered immediately. Your power is minimal, but your accountability is not. Mistakes attach to you. Corrections are public. You learn to anticipate them before they happen. You still believe this is something you will outgrow. You advance. You are now a junior resident. Your role changes from execution to coordination. You manage interns. You oversee patient lists. You communicate upward and downward at the same time. Information flows through you. Your authority increases. You can initiate actions without immediate approval. You can adjust plans within boundaries. You are trusted to maintain movement. The environment shifts slightly. You spend more time in workrooms in front of screens, organizing information into decisions. Conversations become shorter, more precise. There is less teaching, more expectation. This is where competence begins to replace uncertainty. You recognize patterns. You predict outcomes. You become faster, but the cost becomes visible. You start reducing complexity. Patients become cases. Cases become tasks. You do not remove empathy directly. You deprioritize it. There is no time allocated for it. You notice that emotional responses interfere with speed, so you limit them. Not entirely, but enough to maintain function. Recognition appears in small forms. Fewer corrections. More autonomy. Occasional acknowledgement. It reinforces the adjustment. You advance. You are now a senior resident. You are responsible for the system at ground level. Interns report to you. Junior residents depend on your direction. Attendings expect you to maintain control before they intervene. Your decisions carry weight. Not theoretical weight, but immediate consequences. You determine priorities. You assign tasks. You control flow. The pressure intensifies. Volume does not decrease. As responsibility increases, it compounds. You are expected to maintain clarity while absorbing uncertainty from all directions. The environment isolates you further. You move between patient floors and enclosed rooms where decisions are condensed into brief exchanges. You speak in summaries. You think in outcomes. Sleep becomes inconsistent. Not by accident, but by design. There is always something unfinished, always something pending. You begin to function in a continuous state of partial recovery. Trust shifts. You rely less on others, not because they are unreliable, but because verification takes time. You carry more information internally. You double-check silently. You stop explaining your reasoning unless asked. You stop asking for reassurance entirely. The idea that this is temporary becomes less defined. You advance. You are now an attending. You have full authority over patient care. There is no higher approval required for final decisions. Your name is attached to outcomes in a permanent way. Your power is clear. You decide direction. You confirm diagnoses. You authorize interventions. Others execute what you determine. But your role extends beyond individual cases. You oversee systems. You evaluate performance. You adjust workflows. The environment reflects this expansion. You have access to private offices, controlled spaces where information is presented in structured formats. Meetings replace briefings. Discussions focus on metrics, efficiency, outcomes. You are no longer inside every moment. You observe patterns across time. Emotion changes form. It does not disappear, but it becomes contained. You respond in measured ways. You maintain consistency. Variability is interpreted as instability. You begin to separate personal response from professional function, not consciously, but consistently. Your influence increases. So does the expectation of control. You advance. You move into leadership. Your position is no longer defined by direct patient interaction. You manage departments. You influence policy. You allocate resources. Your decisions affect not just individuals, but structures. Staffing, scheduling, priorities. You determine what is optimized and what is tolerated. The environment becomes quieter. Minimalist rooms, controlled lighting, large windows overlooking the city. Activity is distant. Information arrives filtered. You operate through systems rather than within them. Your time is segmented into decisions. Each one carries broader impact. There is less urgency, but more consequence. You notice that distance changes perception. Patients are no longer visible. They exist as data points, trends, outcomes. You understand the necessity of this abstraction. It allows scale. It also removes context. Your interactions become strategic. Conversations are shorter. Language becomes precise. You no longer explain processes. You reference them. Your identity aligns with function. You are recognized by role, not by variation. You advance. You reach the executive tier. There are no shared spaces here. No interruptions. The environment is controlled, quiet, and isolated. Decisions are made without immediate feedback. You oversee the entire structure. You evaluate performance across departments. You adjust systems to maintain stability. Your influence is maximum. Your presence is minimal. You are no longer reacting to events. You are shaping the conditions that produce them. There is no external pressure at this level, only internal calibration, metrics, projections, long-term adjustments. You realize something without needing to articulate it. There is no outside reference point left. The earlier stages of your progression feel distant, not because of time, but because of incompatibility. The way you processed information, the way you responded to pressure, the way you defined yourself, all of it has been replaced gradually. You do not remember deciding to change. You adapted at each level. Each adjustment was small, necessary, and reinforced. Now there is no distinction between you and the system you once entered. Leaving is technically possible. Structurally it exists, but it no longer has meaning. There is nothing to return to that has not already been reorganized. You do not feel trapped. You feel aligned, and that is what remains.